So starting in tall kneeling, just two knees on the ground here. And all we're gonna do is start just by taking your hips back, touching your butt to your heels, and coming up again. So think of this like usually we're on the ground doing a glute bridge. Think of this, it's the same exact mechanics, except your knees are gonna bend. Same exact mechanics. So think about cheeks strong at the top, hips nice and level. You're just reaching back, touching your heel or butt to your heels, coming back up. So as you come forward, you're going to be squeezing your cheeks here, getting you up nice and tall. So this is actually a hip warm-up. I would recommend something like nice and padded for shins or for knees today. You're going to spend a little time on your knees here in the beginning. I should have done this outside. Nice morning. All right, so good. Let's all right. Now we'll go same movement, except you're gonna turn or point your toes back so that your shoelaces would be on the ground. So now we're just sitting a little bit deeper. Come all the way up to tall kneeling. And back down. So we're just working our way through that. Think of this as a glute bridge, hip activation. Sung-hee, how is this knee bend for you? Is it okay? Just okay? Did you make a sad face there? All right, there may be some stuff today that just needs to be, that you just got to omit because a lot of it is knee bend. Okay, so let's go just alternate between the two. So we're gonna sit on top of your heels, like with your toes curled under. When we come up, adjust your feet, sit down on your feet. Come up, curl your toes under. And then we're sitting down on your feet. So just kind of alternating between the two. Okay. And good. Let's sit down on your side here. So one hip turned in, one turned out. We do this pretty much every Thursday. It's just a great way to open up your hips. Good morning, Elaine. Thanks for joining. All right, so whatever leg is in front of you, let's put your elbows on the ground there. Okay, so this should just be like a perform a stretch or feeling a stretch in the outside of that hip. Try to get nice even pressure through your elbows. Take a couple of deep breaths while you're there. And let's come up, we'll switch to the other side. And elbows to the floor. If you need more of a stretch on your hip, just take your foot, you can kind of manually do it, just grab it, move your foot forward. I do not need more stretch on my hip. I'm going to put it back. All right, let's go back to the original side. And we're going to turn and look away. So whatever knee is in front, the leg that you would lean over, you're going to turn over that leg, turning away from your back leg, and just taking a look behind you. And let's switch sides. We're gonna do the same thing. You kind of use your hands to help you out here. Just sort of walking yourself around. And good. Let's sit with legs crossed. Sitting up nice and tall. Use this as a hip stretch. Let's switch the cross of your legs. So usually, like with stuff like this, I'll tend to kind of rock back and forth. And I feel like it helps me settle into the stretch a little bit more. Also, it's not super comfortable for me to sit like this. So if I move side to side, I don't know, it feels better to, I feel like I get a better stretch that way. All right, so let's sit tall and bring one heel in towards your butt. So one leg's gonna be straight, the other one's gonna be, or your other leg's gonna be fully bent. Heel in as close to your butt as you can get it. And we're just kind of giving it a hug here. Make sure you're sitting tall as well. Switch sides. So bringing that foot in, trying to sit up as tall as you can. All right, so here's where we're going with this. We're gonna go back to the original side, bring that heel all the way into your butt, and either using fingertips or without fingertips, we're gonna start to shift weight onto your foot. All right, so all we're gonna do is switch sides here. You can give your knee a hug if it helps, but we wanna sit forward onto that leg. So now I'm trying to lift my butt off the floor. And for right now, if it's a really like a big effort for you to try to get onto that leg, right now let's just teach your body that it works, that's going to be okay, that you can do that movement, and we'll just use your fingertips and sort of press yourself forward over that leg. So if I'm here, instead of really trying to rock, which I could do right now probably, I'm going to get into the groove a little bit and just use my fingertips, push forward. So now I'm sitting on top of this foot that was in towards my butt, and switch sides. So we're really just rolling up onto the foot. And you may notice that as we go along, as we alternate through this, you need less and less help from your fingertips. And you get closer and closer to being able to do it without fingers. So we're just rolling through that. If you're able to get there, the next step would be to bring your other foot up underneath you. So if you're here and you can roll forward, then we roll into that other side. Oh, bad dismount. But then you would go back down the other side. So here I would roll forward, bring the other leg under, shift to the other side, and down. Lots and lots of hip mobility there. It might seem like something that's impossible for you, but as you practice it, you will get better at it. Andres, perfect setting for a primal class. Good job. I should be outside too. I'm looking outside. I should be outside. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and stand. I don't know if I'm gonna have room here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, we did a little bit of this last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, but just kind of that narrow stance like you're on a balance beam. You know, a lot of you probably don't have a balance beam, but if you have, maybe if you have a 2x4 sitting around or something close by, you can grab it. But otherwise, we'll just go with that real narrow stance. All right, so let's just go heel to toe. You'd be amazed at what you can get out of just going heel to toe, walking like you're on a balance beam, even if you're not. So we'll go forward, backwards, just getting things dialed in here. Making sure you stay tall. So try not to look at your feet here. You can kind of have your gaze down like you're looking at the end of the balance beam, but don't look straight down at your feet. Just pulls all of your posture off. Just walking heel to toe like you're on a beam. Okay, so from here, we're gonna take kind of like lunge steps, all right? So right now I'm heel to toe, or just a little bit off of heel to toe, but I'm on the same line, just like on a balance beam. Then I'm gonna sit down. So I'm sitting on my back heel. Stand back up, take a step, and repeat. All right, so we're almost taking like little lunge steps, but you're gonna crouch, come back up, take a step, crouching down. Again, we've got that nice narrow stance, so when you go down, we wanna be nice and balanced. The lesson here is you're gonna let your front leg do most of the work. So if you really sit on your back leg here, your back leg's already kind of in a compromised spot. And especially if you have knee stuff, sitting on your back leg and taking a lot of the weight off your front leg is gonna put a ton of stress on that back knee as you go down. But if you can shift your weight forward over your leading leg, then it's like a kind of just a short stance lunge. And we stand, we move on. Okay, last little bit of warm up here. Just a little challenge. So if you have something, like if you have an object around, like maybe I could use my notebook here. You're gonna take a step into that crouch position, right? So now I'm here. I'm gonna move that notebook as far away as I can. I'm gonna try to reach, or you can pick a spot on the floor, try to reach and touch without falling over, without losing balance. And then you're gonna try to reach and touch the other way. And we stand. So we take a step, crouching down again with the other foot in front. You're gonna reach as far as you can, shift your weight as you need to. Again, we're keeping that really narrow stance like you're on a balance beam. Well, let's work through that 4 or 5 times. So just crouching down. You're gonna sit on top of your heel. Reach as far out as you can. Let's do it 2 more times. And good. Okay. So we're gonna do a circuit similar to the way we did it last week. Last week we did 1 minute. We did 3 exercises, 1 minute each, and went through the circuit 3 times. Okay, so a total of 9 minutes. It's just a quick mobility circuit here. One movement in particular is going to be pretty challenging. So not in terms of like muscular effort, but just in terms of being able to do it. So modify this as you need to. What is it? It's a half kneeling lunge. Okay, so if you're in this half kneeling position, we're going to lunge forward and take your knee to the ground. So that's would be the easier part of the movement. The tougher part is coming back without that big hitch, right? So we don't want it to look like knee to the ground and then like this big effort to throw yourself back up. We want to see if we can get knee to the ground and then just coming back, right? So we're just going to work through this for a minute. Okay. If getting back either causes pain or you just feel like you're not able to do it well, we can just move forward. So it could be like a walking lunge. So you put that knee on the ground, step through to the next one. Put that knee on the ground, step through the next one. So at some point you'll have to turn around. But remember, these circuits aren't about like going hard. It's about feeling your way through the mobility and just getting all these movements down. So this is a lot of hip mobility, a lot of core strength, and we're trying to keep hands out of the equation if possible, all right? Okay, so that's that. We're gonna do a minute of that half kneeling lunge. Then we're gonna do a tripod get up. So tripod get up is, think of like, you know, if you were here with Turkish get up, instead of putting your knee to the ground, you're gonna come up all the way and put your foot on the ground, and we stand up. Then you take that same hand right back down to the floor, and we're back to that. So it's really a lot like that middle part of the Turkish get up. Once you get to the floor, we're gonna switch sides. So it's kind of like bypassing putting your knee on the ground and putting your foot straight down to the ground. Okay, so we'll do that for a minute. Last one is just under over. So we'll be standing here, some standing hip mobility. So we're gonna stay nice and tall. We're gonna step over, I don't know, an obstacle or something fake. I'll usually say step into the bathtub. So we step over into the bathtub, and then you'll slide under. So we're sliding under and across. So we'll circle one way for 30 seconds, and then we'll circle the other way for 30 seconds. Okay, so just really working on hip mobility here. Main thing there is as you bring your knee up, you should be bringing your knee to your chest, not your chest to your knee. So we don't want to flex forward on that, okay? So we'll go for a minute at a time here. We're gonna start with that half kneeling lunge. And we'll go from there. All right, so we've got 1 minute, half kneeling lunge. So we start off on one knee, and then we're gonna tap this knee to the ground and return back if you can. If returning back seems like it's out of the question, just try to step through. Or if taking your knee to the ground is out of the question, we'll just rock forward here like this. A lot of value in that too. So we're still getting a lot of that hip mobility. It's just saving some wear and tear probably, okay? All right, so we're gonna go 1 minute, and then we'll go right into the tripod get up, okay? All right, 3, 2, 1, and we go. So we're just working forward. If you feel like you need to work into it, that's okay too. We're just working forward, rolling right over top of the ball of your foot, taking that knee to the ground, and then popping back. So definitely the hardest part of that is getting your weight shifted back so that you can pull that knee up off the ground nice and smooth. I tend to open my hip up, so I'm not straight on here. I'm kind of turned out to the side a little bit. That's just where my hip flexibility, my hip mobility is. If I don't open up, I don't get enough room there. 10 seconds left. So just working on taking that knee to the ground. Going back doesn't work, then step right through. All right, let's go to your butt. Okay, you're gonna put right hand, left foot flat on the floor, pressing yourself up, bring your foot under you. We go ahead and stand. And we're gonna alternate that. So left hand, right foot. Pushing yourself up, make sure your belly is super strong as you push into the floor. "30 seconds left here. Yeah, so really push those hips up high in the air. If it helps you to keep your arm up, you can do that if it's just a good cue for you. Otherwise, it's not needed. Yeah, there you go. Good job, guys. Remember, it's going to be opposite hand and foot. pressing into the floor. Got 5 seconds left. Stay standing. We're gonna go under over. So with this movement, we want it to be controlled the whole time. We're gonna go one direction for 30 seconds. We want it nice and smooth and controlled to the point where if at any point I said stop and go the other way, you'd be able to stop and go right back the way you came from, especially on this over. We want the over to be really slow and controlled. Other way in 2, 1, and here we go. We're switching directions. So now you're gonna step over the other way and slide under. Really opening up the hips here. Everything above your waistband should be nice and quiet. All right, we're going back to the half kneeling lunge in 2, 1, and here we go. So we're gonna go through this circuit 3 times, 1 minute at each exercise. So we can go to this big forward lunge, or you can roll all the way over that knee, tap that knee to the ground, then we shift weight and come back. Halfway there, 30 seconds left. Ten seconds. 2 seconds. And 1. Let's go to the get up. So you remember you're just pushing that hand down into the floor. I'll have my legs almost straight, right? So a lot of times I feel like people try to get right here and then try to sneak their foot under them. Try pushing yourself up as high as you can push before you put your foot down. So it's going to be like almost like legs are straight before you put your foot down. So you're here pushing all the way up, then you put that hand down. So you don't have to sneak it under you. There should be lots of room because you've pushed your hips a long way up in the air or high in the air. 15 seconds left. 5 seconds. 2, 1. Okay, under over, round 2, here we go. As you pick up and over, think about, you can go hands on hips here and make your belly as strong as you can make it. So this is kind of like core strength, core control, because as you're moving that leg, your core has to stabilize. So if you can put your hands on your hips here, you can feel how strong everything is there in front as you go through. So there should be a lot going on in your core, because anytime you're on one foot, your core has to do a lot of stabilizing, a lot of balancing. Halfway, let's go the other way. It was actually halfway like 10 seconds ago. All right, last round here, half kneeling lunge. So do what you need to do with this one, either a big forward, kind of a big forward diagonal lunge like this, where you're just feeling that stretch, or we're rolling all the way over the knee or all the way over your ankle, taking your knee to the ground, coming back up. A lot of it's going to have to do with your floor surface here too. If it's not super comfortable to be on your knee, it's probably going to be tough to do this one, because it kind of does require that you really drive your knee down. Ten seconds left here. All right, let's go to the get up. Remember, you're gonna push your hips way up in the air before you try to set your foot down. It's okay if your feet are wider than shoulder width apart. Remember, we're gonna alternate at the bottom. It's good brain massage too. Anytime we're working with opposite limbs, we're crossing brain hemispheres, making your brain do a little bit of work to coordinate, and it's a little bit of a brain massage at the same time. 15 seconds here. 5 seconds. Over and under one last time. Remember that belly's super strong as you step up and over, staying strong and tall. Halfway. So should be going the other direction here. "15 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, that's it. All right, so we're just gonna take a pose on the ground or a posture on the ground that you feel like you can relax in. Sorry. Okay. All right, so that might be, there's a couple of resting postures here. Might be cross-legged. It might be like a child's pose type thing where you're here sitting on your heels. You can take your elbows to the ground. So just like arms straight out in front, taking your forehead down to the ground. We can also sit in that 90-90 position or cross leg. So sit in a way that you feel like lets you relax right now. We're just going to take 2 minutes to flip the switch from work to rest. I've got everybody marked down, so if you want to take off, you can go ahead. But otherwise, we just take a second here. If you can see outside, take a look outside. If you are outside, just look around. Andres, good to see you this morning. Glad you could carve out some time. You must have thrown the blockade up on the sliding glass door out onto the deck so nobody could come out. Let's take one more minute here, just sitting tall. Remember, however you're sitting, we want to be tall from your butt bones all the way to the top of your head. So the heart rate won't be up too much on this one. You might have a little bit of a sweat going just from moving around, but we aren't really recovering our heart rate here. We're just taking a minute to breathe. 20 seconds left. Should be time for about 3 big breaths. And that's a wrap. All right, good job, everybody. So obviously lots of mobility today, some core balance, core control, a little bit lighter Thursday as usual. But yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Intensity comes back up. Tomorrow, I won't be sad if you're not at my 7 a.m. class, because the 5:30 class is going to be awesome, and there's snow cones afterwards, and that's going to be live. Yes, Andres, you're the man here. I give you full credit. You handed the ball off, and I ran. You called the play. I ran with the ball.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Thanks for that.
No, it'll be really fun. Snow cones will be there at 6, between 6 and 7 tomorrow. Bring the family. Rhonda, maybe Lewis would want a Hawaiian ice or a shave ice if he's not out of town for baseball or something. But hope to see you guys there tomorrow, 6 to 7 at the Cube. We'll have a socially distanced social outside in the parking lot. You'll see the truck. Okay, that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow evening, not tonight. All right, guys. We'll see you. Have a great day.